Hi everyone, so welcome back. This is your daily reading for, or at least the tarot portion at first, and then I'll do the astrology, but this one's for Tuesday, February 18th. Yeah, let's see, what do we need to know for today? What is the most important thing? 3 cards. For the most important thing to focus on for today. To make it the best day we possibly can. And in case if there's anything to watch out for, all of those questions thrown in the mix. Okay. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Don't take the hand of fear. Be careful with too much chocolate or anything else that's just hard to let go of. Oh, goodness. We have the sun reversed. And okay, these cards suck. These cards suck. But it does go a little bit with the astrology, and I'll show you that in a minute. So our theme for the day, with the sun coming through reversed, we need to hold on to our light. We need to turn things around, reframe things into the positive. When the sun comes through reversed, you just might have one of those days where you feel like things are not coming through the way you wanted. Just remember, it's temporary. And just remember that, especially if you're working to let go of like sugar or anything else that you've noticed is addictive, maybe it's just negative thoughts, right? Because this dude's the king of negative. He's all about negativity. The sun's all about positivity. So just remember that you're the one that can free yourself out of the prison of your mind. You're the one that is able to, because, the swords, it's the hardest suit in the deck to get through, no matter what stage you're at. It's all about controlling the mind, controlling the words that come out of your mouth, walking away from things that are controlling. And this guy, he's the primo controlled dude, right? He's all about bondage and apathy and people who are cruel and, most of all, materialism and addiction, of course. But like I always say, these chains around the neck, they're not tied. Their hands and feet are not tied. The man's reaching out, looks like, towards the woman. They could both take the chains off of their neck and walk away from this guy who's just trying to control them. Because in this realm, it's all about territory and numbers. In the realms of light, in the highest realms of light, well, all the realms of light, it's about individuation. It's about independence from this kind of crap. So if we can free our mind from, for me, like, I'll tell you the truth, for me, it's like out of sight, out of mind. So I don't buy certain things that I know I would just not do well with, because all you need is a weak moment, and then there you go, that you've eaten 3 cookies or whatever, or a whole bag of chips, or, you know what I mean? You know what I mean, Vern? So we're human, and it's not easy being human. There are so many temptations, which is another keyword for the devil. So I'm looking at this card right now and thinking out of sight, out of mind, and just keep my hands behind my back. When I go grocery shopping, there's certain aisles you just don't go down. You don't go down the cookie and crackers aisle. You don't go down the candy aisle. You know what I mean? And then that way you can avert a lot of wasted life force and a lot of, challenging health situations, because this energy loves to keep people down, loves it when people are, well, it's a weird kind of love, but it's not real love. but they love, they actually, they get energy, they rob energy from when we're depressed, when we're down and in the dumps. So, but this is just one day. So my rule is always, when we're reading cards every day, unless you get the same card, like if I get this guy every day for the next 3 or 4 days, I know something's up. But usually, when you're reading every day, you don't give as much importance to, to the majors when they come through, or any negative cards when they come through, unless they're repetitive, like I just said. So, and that was repetitive, wasn't it? Oh, so, okay. One other thing with this combination here is I feel like it's really mostly, because, this is my theme, it's mostly about, the center card is always my theme, is about knowing that it's just one day, knowing that the sun comes up tomorrow, knowing that it's normal to go through depression. So I could go over the real needs with you guys again, because when we don't have our real needs met when we're little, this is what creates these substitute addictions. And it's to ward off it's a way to numb out, to ward off the depression. So the way it works is, as babies, we have to attach to an adult, a caretaker. Usually it's mom, but it could be another, adult. And inevitably, well, it's probably not so bad that way nowadays. It all depends, right? But when we were growing up, it was much harder, because it was harder for our parents. So the real needs are for love and warmth, and most of all, connection. And if you have that, then of course you have, the food. And then there's this part about being seen and heard and understood. Well, if babies are schedule fed like I was, or if mom didn't come when the baby cries, then you grow up feeling like no one's there. You have to do everything all on your own, and there's just not, there's no one real. There's nothing really to attach to. So you attach to something else. Like for me, I think I slept my way through it a lot, because I would always just, when an infant doesn't have its real needs met, it tends to just go back to God, go back to source. And that's like my go-to, thing. Like it's been a hard thing for me all my life to be in, like confrontation in relationships and stand up for myself and say no. But every time I've done that, it's been so healing. So it all depends on what your family environment was like when you were little. And, a lot of kids got smacked around if they didn't behave. They weren't allowed to, there was no baby proofing. And a lot of parents, they left their things out, and, little kids would try to reach out, and then they get their hands smacked. So, what does that teach an infant, a toddler especially, is to not ask for help, not to reach out. And then if on top of that you don't have encouragement, and on top of that, pretty much everyone in my generation grew up with parents who smoked and drank. So then you're growing up and you're seeing that, and you've got this disgusting energy around you. Well, when you get older, it's like you have to extricate. Some things were super easy for me to just like never get involved in, like smoking, or hard alcohol or anything like that. But or even drugs. I tried pot a little here and there when I was younger, and it was like I didn't like the feeling at all. It was just creepy. So, and I hated the smell. But anyway, that's just me, and I don't have any judgment at all over anybody nowadays. Whatever we use to get by, it's just temporary. And so what happens when we're clearing ourselves out of the false beliefs? Like for me, I thought I didn't matter. A lot of people feel like they're not good enough. A lot of people feel like they're not worthy. A lot of people feel like they're too much, and you know, or you have to win, otherwise you don't deserve to be loved. You have to always be right, or you have to be perfect. That's one. That's a major one. And no one can be perfect. So the deal is, when we extricate ourselves from those false beliefs, what we go through is an experience of, and it's temporary. Sometimes it's just a day. Sometimes it's only an hour. Sometimes it's only 5 minutes. Sometimes it's weeks. We go through periods of depression. And that's not a bad thing. That means you're healing, because your emotional body is going back to the past that needs to revisit those places where you didn't have a healthy parent, and you go back to the past and you reparent yourself through, you're bringing the past, you're clearing out the emotional body, and then you're no longer blindfolded here, and you're no longer stuck in all these false beliefs, and you can just shake these off. You can literally turn the sun right up, because your light is emanating. You're no longer depressed, because you have gone through the courageous process of, and as many times as you need to, because it's always a spiraling in. You go through the process of clearing out whatever was in the way of your true light coming through. And then when that happens, this guy has no power. This guy is just, you're free. You've reclaimed your power, and you've detached from all of this stuff. So you can wait when you have those periods of wanting a bunch of sugar. You can wait instead of grabbing the cigarette or the alcohol or the whatever else to numb. And the whatever else could be like overworking or just avoidance. Avoidance is a big one for a lot of people. But you can free yourself from this guy, and you can shake off those shackles and not be ruled by your head or your false beliefs, and no longer in your self-created prison. And that's how I want those cards to be for today, for you guys. But I also want you to go through whatever process you need to go through, right? Okay, so the astrology it's quite a bit alike, because we have Neptune over here, of course, still opposing the South Node. That's going to be that way for quite some time. This is a period where we're going in, getting details, healing, freeing ourselves, and we have all our guides and guardian angels over here to help us, and they're cheering us on. The moon in Scorpio earlier this morning, let's go, I'll change it to hours and see if we get any other exact aspects as we go through the day. But for the morning, there's no exact aspect. You can see that it has moved away from an exact square to Pluto. So, but it depends on what time. If you get up really early, you might, with Neptune in Pisces and conjunct the North Node, joined up with the North Node, you may very well have dreamtime information that comes through, especially when the moon's in Scorpio. And the moon will be in Scorpio tomorrow, too. So let's go forward. There we go. We have a trine right there to Mercury. See how we've got 6 degrees here, 7 degrees over here. So the trine to Mercury in Pisces. Now, Mercury is the way we think and communicate. And in Pisces, it can be very healing. It can be blissful. It can be very mystical. You can use your imagination to manifest. You can visualize. There's a lot of visualization strength with this Pisces stellium we have going on here. Yeah. Was it yesterday that the sun moved into Pisces? I can't remember. Or was it just maybe earlier this morning? Actually, here, let's just do this. Let me just go way back. Yeah, 2 a.m. About 2 a.m. Pacific, the sun changed from Aquarius to Pisces. So this next 28 days will have a much different flavor. Pisces is much more compassionate and intuitive and sensitive. But on the dark side, some people will be even more victimized because they're in a cult and they just don't realize it. Some people will fall into the chaos of the Virgo South Node. It's not chaos, I don't think, really, but some people get a lot of anxiety when there's a Virgo, something strong in Virgo. It's only the South Node, though, so it's not. It's really about going into the past, the details of what actually happened, and healing whatever needs to happen. And this is playing out politically as well. So, but the hard part with Pisces is sometimes it's about, people are just, their energy's all over the place, and they're blaming everyone else, and they won't take self-responsibility for what's going on. Now, if they're in a cult, eventually they'll work themselves out of it. They'll work their way out. And you know who they're going to blame. They're going to blame the cult leaders, right? That's how it goes. And they'll be the whistleblowers probably if there's, something going on there. Let's see. Let me go forward a little more. We can still see that inconjunct is happening from Ceres to the South Node. So there's that adjustment from the past in order to free ourselves into the future. That's still going on. But for the most part, it's during the day. Well, there's another inconjunct from the moon. Now the moon moves a half a degree every hour, so 1 degree every 2 hours, right? So and it takes one whole day to even go 13 degrees, so it'll be at it'll be in the third decan. So when the moon's in Scorpio, it's important to remember that it's about transformation, transitions, recycling, refining, transforming ourselves. Really is because we can't control anyone else. It's just a waste of time, and it's a waste of time to worry about things too. It's best to stay present, work on our own process until we can clear it out, because that's why we're here on Earth, right? We're not here on Earth to try and fix everybody else. We're here to clear out our own issues, our own false beliefs. So with the adjustment aspect here coming from the moon to Venus, well, boy, women can be, and this may be a celebration. It's possible that there could be a bit of celebration because everybody, came together, on the 17th, which I'm doing this reading on the 17th, but earlier in the morning. And, actually, it's 9 a.m. Pacific time, so it's possible that, it would be, so 12 noon in a lot of the state capitals and other gathering places, town halls, all types of places all over the United States. There are peaceful protests going on today for Not My President's Day. It's perfect. So this would be the integration energy from all the planning and all of the showing up and protesting that happened on the 17th. So I like that. And Pisces is all inclusive type of energy, so there would be a lot of tolerance, this is really, really good for peaceful protest. And then digging deep and knowing, okay, now what, and what, we know where the real work is. So, but again, we can't control anybody but ourselves. So that's the tricky part. But we have strength in numbers. So, and that's the Pisces energy there is very supportive of that. So the other aspects are the same, so I won't go into them today because I went a little over with all the tarot. So I'll be back later. Have a good day. Take good care as always. Bye.